If you're a woman over 40 and you're relying on just one paycheck to carry you through to retirement, we need to talk. Because the truth is, job security isn't what it used to be. Everywhere you look, women are losing their jobs, and particularly for Black women, their rate of job loss is even higher. More and more women in their 40s and 50s are finding this out the hard way. We're seeing layoffs, restructuring, and companies quietly pushing out older, experienced workers. We're seeing women step away from the workforce to care for aging parents, their spouses, or even to care for their own health. And sometimes it's not even a big event. It's a slow shift that makes it even harder to stay at the same income level over time. So, knowing this information, what are you going to do about it? Because that's something you can't control. If your job decides to let you go tomorrow, what are you going to do? What's your plan? So many of us have been relying on one job, one income stream, one paycheck. But if that suddenly goes away, what you need are options. And that's what this video is about. This isn't about being negative. This is about being prepared. Because when you lose your main source of income, what you need is a backup plan. And the problem is that most people only think of backup plans after the loss has already occurred. But I'm here to tell you that's too late. Back in the day, the kids used to say, you have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that 100% applies in this situation. Because if you lose your job and your source of income, what you want to be able to do is pivot very quickly to something that you've already had working in the background. At this stage of life, the stakes are higher. You don't have 30 years to recover from a financial setback, and you may not be able to walk back into another position at the same salary level. And let's be honest, starting over financially at this age can be overwhelming. So here's the shift I want you to start making. Stop thinking, I just need to keep my job, and start thinking, I need to create options for myself. Because financial security today doesn't come from just one job. It comes from having more than one source of income. Costs are going up every day. Groceries are increasing. Rents are going up. Car loans are outrageous. And one income today is just not going to cut it. So what you need to do is to start building in the background while you currently have an income coming in. Because the problem is, once you lose that source of income, it's very, very difficult to try and create something from scratch, because you're going to be likely in a place of desperation, and you never want to operate out of a place of desperation. This is the reason why financial professionals tell you to start saving early. It's so that you can put a plan in place so that if something happens in the future, you've already got a pile of money to rely on. It's not going to do you very much good if you never save in advance and then all of a sudden you lose your income and now you think to yourself, I guess it's time to start saving. No, it's too late. You've waited too long. What you want to do is start building in the background. Now, let me be clear. This is not about hustle culture. This is not about working to exhaustion. This is about having a plan in your back pocket in the event that something happens that you have no control over. You always want to maintain control over your income. I'm not telling you to hustle harder or to work yourself into exhaustion. That's not the goal. The goal is to build something small and sustainable alongside your current life. Something that gives you breathing room. Something that gives you choices. Now, when I tell people this, the reaction I usually get is, I'm too tired. I don't have time. I have all of these other responsibilities. And I understand that, so do I. But you are never going to create options for yourself if you don't start before the possibility of you needing that option later on. As I said before with the savings example, if you wait to create another source of income until you need it, it's going to be too late. And then you're going to be even more stressed out and trying to figure out what to do while bills are piling up. You're either looking for a new role or trying to figure out what to do and just trying to survive. Why put yourself through that when you can start to do something today that will give you a little more wiggle room and options in the future should something happen? For many women over 40, this doesn't mean starting from scratch. It means building on what you already know. It could look like consulting in your current field. It could be part-time remote work. It could be coaching, teaching, or mentoring. It could even be creating content or starting a small online business. The key is to start where you are. I'm not asking you to spend every night or every weekend working on something, just a few hours a week, because all you want to do is get some momentum going, to get some experience under your belt. Let's take for an example, you want to be a dog walker. Great. Start by doing that just a couple of hours a week. Get the experience that you need. Get some testimonials. Build up some education around dog walking. Because if you lose your job and you need to pivot to dog walking, you're going to thank yourself that you started dog walking before you lost your main source of income. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I'm tired. I don't know where to start. I'm not good with technology. Or even, what if it doesn't work? And all those are valid concerns. But here's the truth. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to start before you're forced to. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not speaking about this from a distance. I'm sharing this with you because I foresee a pivot in my own future with my own career. And that's why you see me here on YouTube now. I'm doing exactly what I'm asking you to do, is prepare early. Start looking ahead. Give yourself a runway and some room to make things happen. And this is not the first time that I've navigated this situation before. I've done it wrong in the past. And I've been in a position where I've been shocked and overwhelmed by a sudden loss of income. And I didn't have a plan B. And I didn't prepare in advance. And that pivot was very difficult. And I don't want you to have to go through the same thing, because I learned from that. And I want you to learn from my mistake. I've had to seriously think about what comes next. But one thing I know for sure is this: I don't ever want to have to rely on just one paycheck ever again. So if you're wondering where to begin, start here. Identify one skill or one area of knowledge that you currently have. Think about how that could help someone else. Test one small idea and commit just a few hours a week to building it. You don't need to replace your income overnight. You just need to begin. Because this isn't about experiencing the worst. It's about creating freedom. It's about making sure that if something changes in your life, you're not starting from zero. You have options, and that changes everything. So if you take anything away from this video, let it be this: start now to start building options for yourself later. Don't wait until you have to act from a position of desperation. Build on the background that you have now so that you can pivot later on. And that's how you create a life you actually want. So down in the comments, tell me something that you are going to start building today, because you want to get ahead of the game and you don't want to be in a position to where you have no options. My name is Kimberly, and I show women over 40 how to use financial strategies to create a life they love. So if that sounds good to you, then subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video with a friend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.